In fact, you and I actually worked with a group of people. I don't want to call out names here, but an organization, if you'll recall, that only paid their employees once a month. Do you remember that? And I
Yes.
wonder because until we were with those people working with them, I didn't know that they got paid once a month. That hadn't been telegraphed to me beforehand to prep for that. So I was actually surprised, almost skeptical when actually someone said, we only get paid once a month on the first of the month. And I said, you do, or you do, or everyone here does, because I didn't know that that actually happened at all, and they were kind of talking about some challenges with it. But do you remember that happening? And what was your initial thought when you heard that's how they got paid?
I was surprised right away because I just had never heard of another organization that did that, and I'm sure there are others. And then my next thought was, wow, you really have to plan pretty well to be able to make that all work because you don't know what's all gonna happen in the month. That doesn't really allow you to time your bills very well. But I think it can always be reworked, like we just talked about with the self-employed person. They have some months that are huge, other months that are nothing, and they can smooth it out. So you could choose to do that same exact thing. If you got paid once per month, it just all goes into one pot. You pay yourself however much you want, however often you want. And so you could use some tools to your advantage. But initially though, yeah, I was a little surprised. It could force you in some ways to be a better planner because you have to make that last longer. I think if you're more savvy of a financial person, I think you could just manipulate it to fit whoever you are and how and whatever your needs are. There's a methodology of budgeting where you're always 1 month ahead. So you always have a month's worth of savings. So I could see that working really well in this situation. The first month is the hardest month, but once you get on that path, then you're assuming you're not spending more than you make, then you could make that work to your advantage pretty nicely and you'd have a nice little cushion. But that's where it would probably take some work, especially if you weren't used to that. If you took a job, you're used to getting paid twice a month, every 2 weeks, whatever it is, which is more typical. Yeah, you'd have to really get used to that that planning that would be required. And I think in this case, it seemed like actually a number of the folks were forced to be better planners. I think actually some of them were pretty good at making the whole month last that money for the whole month because they just had to. They were forced to in some ways.